Welcome to the next episode of Crow Tribe Conversations. Yeah, I'm wearing the same shirt because at the same day I was just talking to somebody very special. Behind us is a pit bull. And anyway, never mind. Good evening, Andrey, Dombrowski. So who are these people?
They look familiar. I think it's my lovely wife, Deanna, and then myself.
All right.
Goodness, almost 20
I used to
years
have,
ago.
we know each other because of some common people in the business world. And you've been on podcasts before. We have some common friends. Today is going to be a little more personal and about the kind of the topic similar about who you pick and who picks you back, which includes the professional world, how you came to be working where you're working. But then you've got some, there's probably some, I'm guessing, you have internal partners, friends, associates, maybe clients who become more than just client, right? That's true for me. So you heard somebody else talk about picking you and had to pick you back.
That's true.
Actually, before we can get down there, tell the neighbors and friends the story of how did you and Deanna meet?
Well, there are two versions.
Yeah,
There's mine and hers,
okay,
right?
Well, we'll get her next time. So
hers is probably the more truer version, but from what I remember, Deanna and I, we met probably back in 2002. No, 2002. Geez, 20 years ago. Excuse me. Greenwood Car Show in Seattle. So Seattle has a huge block party in the summertime. Greenwood Car Show, classic cars all up and down the avenue, and a big street fair, right? And Deanna at the time was working at a place called the Pig and Whistle.
Say it again.
The Pig and Whistle.
Pig. Okay, Pig and Whistle. Okay.
And it was kind of a neighborhood joint, kind of pub, breakfast joint, and also evening for dinner and whatnot. And she was waitressing there, and so we were in there with a group of friends, and she caught my eye.
Okay. Fair enough.
I have to find a way to say hello to this lady.
Oh, that's brave, man.
So how do I do that? And she was actually our server, so it worked out well. And I knew the manager of the establishment too. So we found a way to connect and get to know each other in that regard.
So you made the first move then. So like that's the...
Yes.
All
yes,
right.
And then no, but it's arguable. If you ask her, she'll tell you a different story.
All right. Either way, the topic like we just had with our previous guest, whoever that was, somebody has to pick you back, right? Otherwise, nothing happens. I've had that. Mm-hmm. You try something true in professional life and otherwise. So you have another story of a friend or business where somebody didn't get picked back. We think of saying we apply for a job and they didn't pick us. Oh, right. You really wanted that.
I think that happens.
But make it personal also.
Throughout life. And that can happen within like a personal relationship, professionally, like you had mentioned, like maybe in a job interview. And I really wanted that job, but I was not selected. I wasn't picked for some reason. It happens in friendships, in business as well, from, in a sales setting, in which my role is as a commercial banker. We seek out clients that we want to serve. And there are times when the client doesn't necessarily see us as a value add or the right partner as well in a banking aspect too. And so I think that picking back, or maybe you could even frame it as a little bit more harshly as rejection sometimes, or a no, it's a part of life.
Yeah. And it hurts, man.
It hurts when you care deeply about something and you're passionate about it. Whether it's, a loving relationship or a professional relationship that you're really, truly seeking and you really want to pursue that, you want it to go the right way, and sometimes it doesn't. But when we hear no, or maybe not getting picked back, I think that's the learning opportunity really in that experience of life, is that, well, what do I do from here? What do I do differently? Or, it could create some maybe questioning of yourself, is like, was I not attractive enough, or was I not was I not handsome? Was I not? I don't know. There's a word for it, maybe from a romantic sense, but we improve from that experientially, and we try something new next time.
Yeah.
Or we should be, right? And we should be learning from that experience, even though it wasn't the outcome we sought.
Yeah. Well, I have learned things like there's the right fit when I've sometimes it's okay. That's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bad guys in those situations. There's just it wasn't the right fit, and that's okay too. And sometimes the other person realizes things that we didn't. And I'm thinking about in the romantic sense with a capital R, because I have to use this gesture. And even my wife, if she was here, she'd be rolling her eyes in the other room. Oh, there he goes again. So he's kind of super romantic and not quite pragmatic enough. But those kind of things to get picked. Those of us who are in a sales kind of role, we want to, I do what I do because I want to help people, because what I do changes their life. It's not just fun or cute or solely to make money. It's and you too. We're both in the money business in different ways. But my favorite thing, and I want to hear what yours is, might be something similar. I think you've heard me say this in previous network meetings we've been, but I love it. It's nice to get a paycheck. It's great to get paid. But the best thing for me is when somebody says, "Oh, Brian, thank you. I feel so much better." Sometimes even come and give me the 2-arm hug where I can't hug them back. I get the, okay, hey, thanks for sure. But when somebody feels that it changed their life, they feel so good. I don't know you, man, but if I'm going home, that was a great day. But
those are the moments that fill the bucket too.
Yeah.
Right? Emotionally, professionally, serving that client. When I reflect personally for a moment on the clients that I've served, to where the trajectory of their business has changed, they've become successful, or they've removed certain barriers or roadblocks within their sphere of influence in their industry, and they give you credit for that.
Yeah.
It's humbling. I'm appreciative of that, but I always tend to come back and say, you've done all the hard work. It wasn't me in there doing all the hard things and having the hard conversation and making the changes. It was just, I was possibly a catalyst in revealing some of those things, maybe from a financial aspect, and talking through what does that look like to become maybe bankable in a sense, as a term that we use in banking. And so being a part of that and being validated as part of that process is wonderful. And how I reference fills the bucket. But at the end of the day, the business and the business owners are making those changes in my world. So it's refreshing to get that feedback from that.
So let me kind of roll this back to when you were in the 7th grade. Who was your best friend?
Oh my goodness. That's so far ago. Can I remember 7th grade?
We'll pick a different grade. There was a time where
high school,
you had a new friend. So high school. Okay.
High school. I mean, growing up when I was younger than 7th grade, I had this, we'd lived in Everett, and I had this friend, his name was Kane, redheaded kid.
Yeah.
And we got in so much trouble as elementary school kids. Everything from kindergarten to 5th grade, you name it, we were into it in the neighborhood. And
it was just classmates? That's how you knew each other?
We were in the same class. We were just neighborhood friends. So he was maybe 5-6 houses down.
And you're talking, this started, you said kindergarten? Little bitty kids.
1st grade, somewhere in there.
Remember how easy it is when you're 5 or 6? Hey, you want to play?
Yeah.
There's no...
What do you want to do?
Yeah. There's no
apprehension.
No such thing as embarrassment. Hey.
Want to ride bikes?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
That was the one, yeah. Ride bikes. I got a ball. You want to throw this back at me after?
Let's go climb that tree.
All right. So you and Kane had years of that then. So
yeah, we had a good stretch of just good fun.
Coming back to that, you had to still pick each other, because other things, to meet other people. And I don't know about you, I had, friends, and sometimes I didn't see one for a while because I was hanging out with these guys or those gals.
Right.
But the business stuff, I want to tie things for both of us to keep it together. That being part of teams. I played sports when I was kind of after junior high. I was the biggest kid in school when I was 6th grader, and that was annoying because everybody wanted to fight me. Fight, come on. But to be on a team was a fun feeling. Somebody picked me. At first it was Little League, and I sucked. I was a big doofus, and my feet were bigger than my anything. but it felt good to be on a team. That's
Yeah.
something I appreciated later in life, to be part of something and ask for the help. But somebody's got to pick me, and you got to be valuable. Coming back to your business thing, not just that they picked you, but you still got to be able to hit the ball or catch the ball or whatever.
Seventh
Be valuable.
grade gym class, you're playing kickball, and everybody's first captain, second captain, who's going to be on where, and nobody wants to be picked last, right?
Yeah. So what are your stories about being picked on as a kid?
I growing up and through middle school and high school, I was always very athletic. I was on sports throughout my career: soccer, basketball, football. So I always excelled, but that we were always playing outside too,
Yeah.
right? And so, growing up in the cul-de-sac, we were playing baseball, we were playing kickball, we were playing football, anything you could do outside, and really until it got dark out. But I had the luxury of living in an area that had kind of cul-de-sacs within the neighborhood, and there were so many families and so many kids running around at that time. So
safe place to play. You said it was Everett.
Yeah.
That's where you grew up.
That's South Everett.
Yeah.
And so we just had a wonderful opportunity to be able to make friends, be outside, and just be active and chase a ball, right? And I joke about that. It's like, put a ball in front of me, I'll chase it. That's probably Labrador.
But there's not this nervousness or apprehension or about making friends, making connections. You just had a bunch of kids all around,
I think there's milestones within that, right? When you talk about moving from maybe elementary school to middle school, and then middle school to high school, there's apprehension like this is going to be new. It's a new frontier. There are new kids. But I think as youth and children, they don't have the hangups that adults have in regards to kind of building those bridges and saying, hey, you want to hang out? You want to, in that picking process that you're talking about, I think there's less to navigate.
Yeah.
Right. And so those friendships emerge more naturally, without the barriers, without the hurdles, without the maybe even stigma or filters. But also too, don't get me wrong, is that, the high school element, things start to group together and you have different cliques, almost tribes of folks. And you kind of start to find your way. And it's a really foundational set of years for you because you don't know, where do I belong, right? Do I belong with the jocks? Do I belong with this group or that group? And so it's a very fundamental part of your, I guess, youth, where you find yourself, right? And you find the people that you want to belong to as well. Does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Also, hearing you, when I get out of these kind of conversations, I realize my upbringing is so different from, say, my wife, who had kind of similar to you. She's been here since she was a baby. She was born in Ohio, but moved here as an infant, grown up here. So she's practically a celebrity. Whereas I was this gypsy life. My dad was a Navy officer. We moved every year. So every September, it's not just a new school, it's a new city. People dress different or they already know each other. And I'm this kid from some other city, other part of the country.
Different culture, right?
And so, so there's a lot of things. So I realize sometimes when I ask these questions, it's not always relevant because other people have been here and they've just grown up. Whereas if you people who've known each other, say for instance, or maybe there was an example where you and Kate, and then there's some other kid who was new in the neighborhood, new in the school. Mm-hmm. Were you inclined to pick on this kid? Or did you say, hey, man, we need somebody else, or you got a friend? What were you like as a kid? And that kind of thing about other. You have memories of new kids coming around and how that.
I think if I was to take a look at my high school years, it was interesting because as I navigated through that, I was an athlete, and I eventually dropped out of athletics and hey, I need to work. I need to be able to pay for a car and get around. And
well, in high school, you started working to pay for. Okay.
That says something. And so it was. Hey, now you're removing yourself from a particular group, and now you need to find a new one. And so one of the things that is challenging is that my mom is from Thailand, my father's Polish, right? And well, do I start to hang out with the kids that are, Asian? Mm-hmm. but I'm only half Asian. So how do I really fit in with the other kids that are maybe 100% Filipino?
Were you
100%
Asian
Korean?
enough or not Asian enough?
I wasn't Asian enough though.
Polish
but I was,
enough or not Polish enough?
Yeah. And so, you look maybe at the surface and you see these groups where people connect and get together. And like, well, I kind of fit in there. I used to fit in there. Kind of fit in over there. And so you find your way eventually. And so it was interesting kind of through that maybe sophomore to junior year. You kind of,
man, those are pivotal years.
Yeah, they are. And, but you find your people eventually. So you kind of find the guys that are working. But for me, it was, okay, who's working, who's making money, who's working on cars,
there you go.
who likes to chase girls, and that type of thing. And
wait, rewind. What that? Likes and what?
You find your little group that you like to hang out with, and eventually everything worked out. But you think about the kids that didn't have that opportunity, right? Who didn't necessarily find it, because you think back and you're like, oh, there's that one kiddo that didn't really fit in with more than one or two folks, right? Or did they have a support system? Did they have a social network? Did they have? And thinking back, it's like, yeah, it was challenging and navigate. I found my way, but some people didn't, right?
Yeah.
And school can be a tough place. Kids can be mean, really mean if you don't belong, right?
Grown-ups too, man. That's what we learn. So it's when I meet people who are 13, I want to say, ask for help, because some people are mean and rude. And anyway, there's a whole path there. It doesn't mean those of us who got treated meanly deserve that, but that mean person might have had some other insecurity or something that they're hiding. And that's the hard part. This is what I've learned being a new kid over and over and over. Have empathy for that mean kid. Like, wait a minute, I don't want to fight, man. Why do you want to fight me anyway? So
because you're new and you don't belong and you don't fit in. And like, what's the hang up? These
kind of things, to come back to what we do professionally. When I'm somebody sitting at my desk or I'm meeting somebody and I might change their life through what I do professionally. But I really try to pay attention to these kind of corny questions, which are also kind of fun, but to kind of connect with that humanity, because I might be talking to somebody who was the mean kid in 8th grade, and they've learned something, or that maybe they still could learn something, and that's another thing. So I try to tap into that humanity, and for me, that's the purpose of this stuff. That it's fun to do that, and then have people talk about what's it like to be Andrey, and what's it like to be a dad of certain kids, and that's the stuff. Or sometimes, if you're that one new person in a job or team or something, and you don't always get invited to, hey, come on over here, come sit with us. Aren't you new? I'm going to say something quick that we can kind of relate to. Remember, you, me, and Forrest were all red badges the same day at Rotary, and I was so impressed with that and how I got there. But what was kind of curious in that group, how I met Jessica Jetter was, I set myself down to go ahead and do setting up, and I noticed. So I got my big red badge on that says, "You're new." So that people say, "Come over here." Jessica and I are both red badges, and we're like, "Okay, well, I guess so." Hi, I'm Brian, and hi, Jessica. And they didn't invite. So at all ages, not just at age 13, but 83, people sometimes forget to invite the new kids. So.
Yeah, and that red badge is supposed to signify, hey, I'm new to the club.
Help me out here.
Learn about me. Help me learn about the club and really welcome me in, right? And there's some folks within that club that are very good at that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I remember that. It was a great experience, and I'll probably come back as my business structure changes.
But also, too, is that's something that we share, right? How are we all connected was through... We were all new kids at the same time within that Rotary Club, right? Where are you from? And I saw you and Forrest click really quickly from kind of a Hawaii thread, right?
Just one of these things, So.
And then we're all just kind of
standing there together.
Like, hey, you're a new kid too. How are you figuring this thing out? So
that kind of stuff, we could be exhaustive on this kind of. I want to plant the seed, and I would like for us to maybe do this again, because I'm going through some professional restructuring that going to change the opportunity and the scope of these kind of conversations. But what's not going to change is my desire to get people to be curious about otherness, each other. You find the new kid, the new dude, lady, something. Hey, come on over here and invite that and be curious. What's it like to be you? Because you have people have a story, you have family, you have other things going, have a pit bull maybe running around. But that's the kind of thing I want to plant the seed. So we're going to keep this a little bit short so we can save something for later, because I sprung most of this on him. He didn't know what I was going to do. So that was kind of the point. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brett.
To be continued. See you at the next Pro Tribe Conversations. Make good things happen.